the bow hold creep. Now, this is something that I've noticed happening with my students over the years, but have only just recently put a name to it. So if you'd like to learn what the bow hold creep is, if it's something that you do, and if so, how to fix it, just stay tuned. Hi, I'm Lauren, a professional violinist and fiddle player living in Nashville, Tennessee, and I help thousands of people achieve their violin and fiddle goals. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I hope you'll consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. We'd love to have you here. So, what exactly is the bow hold creep? Well, simply put, it is if you hold your bow in somewhat normal way. We've got the ideal bow hold going on. Our pinky is curved, our thumb is bent, our fingers are curved over the bow nicely, and we have a nice open shape. That's the ideal bow hold, right? Well, the creep comes into play when you begin playing and your two middle fingers, and sometimes even that index finger, begin to creep up to the top of the bow. And then all of a sudden you're left with this wobbly, non-functional, non-supportive bow hold. And where do you go from there? Well, I'm going to show you a little trick that I've found to be helpful when correcting this bow hold creep. So again, ideally, we want to make sure that all of our fingers are nice and rounded, and we have our contact of our two middle fingers on the solid part of the frog here. So the pads of the fingers, you should feel that connection to the solid part of the bow. We want all of this to be nice and connected to the bow so that we have a nice supportive bow hold. So sometimes you can have all of these correct elements in place when you're starting to play, but then the further along you get into a piece or a tune, that's when your fingers start to creep up toward the top of the bow, and that's what we're looking to avoid. Now, there are a couple different reasons this could happen. Usually it's because we are thinking about keeping our hand relaxed, and therefore with the movement of playing and everything, the fingers can shift around instead of remaining steady and stable in place, which is what we want. So that could be a potential reason that you're noticing the bow hold creep happening. Another reason this could occur is if you're just simply not super comfortable holding the bow in general. It's something that you need more practice with, and your fingers can shift around because you're not confident in your finger placement to begin with. That's another reason that this could potentially happen as you play. But regardless of the reason, we want to try to avoid it, right? And we want to be able to correct this behavior so that we can have a nice, steady, reliable bow hold going forward. So what you can do is just simply take a piece of tape. It can be gift wrap tape or really any kind of tape. And we're going to roll the tape so that it is sticky on both sides. And you can use double-sided tape for this as well, but it doesn't have to be either way. And what you're gonna do is just simply stick the tape on this solid part of the bow here, right in the middle. If you have a little design or something, it should be covering that part. So this is what it should look like. And that is exactly where your two middle fingers are going to go. So you can go ahead and set up your bow hold as normal. And you're just gonna feel that little bit of stickiness that is holding your two middle fingers in place. And that way, if you start to notice your fingers wanting to move up as you play, there's gonna be that little bit of resistance that is preventing you from getting to that point. And also, if it's something that you don't notice typically happening until maybe after it's already happened, this is one of those things that's gonna bring that additional level of awareness, because you'll be feeling that stickiness and that resistance as you remove your fingers from their correct position. So we talked about the bow hold creep being the two middle fingers typically coming up to the top of the bow or close to it, but the creep could also be your whole hand shifting. Sometimes people have the tendency to completely change hand positions and sort of crawl up the bow. So this is one of those things, this little tape trick, that can be helpful for both of those instances, depending on what you particularly struggle with. So try this tape trick. Let me know how it goes for you and your bow hold creep. Let me know if it works. Let me know if it's helpful. And hopefully your fingers will remember that correct position and will be able to stay in place going forward. Well, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you did end up enjoying this video and finding it to be helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up below. It really helps my channel out, and I hope to see you in the next one. Happy practicing.